Well, good afternoon, good morning, no matter what time of day it is where you are. We appreciate you joining us today on this episode of the CVC Home Service Success Network. Each and every week, this is sponsored and presented by CVC Success Group. And our hope is that we're able to share with you some processes, some concepts, some ideas that can help you move the business that you manage or that you own closer and closer to the one that you envisioned the day that you started. Remember, the purpose of your business is to bring you the means, the access, the resources to do what you want to do in real life. That's what it's all about. So today the subject is it time to reboot your business? And I come up with the term reboot because that's something that comes up with the use of a computer. I know that every night I shut off my computer and the next morning I reboot it and it comes back up. I also know with my mobile phone, it gets overloaded. I've got to shut it down, restart it, which is a reboot to get it where it's operating to the way that I want to. And that's similar to what you got to do in your business. You got to reboot it every once in a while. One of the common examples that I've used is if Sears Roebuck had rebooted their business many years ago, Sears Roebuck could be Amazon today, but they didn't see what the problems were. They didn't see how other people were overtaking them. And that's the question to you. Do you really see where your business is? Do you really understand how many people know who you are? One of the things of success is where people know who you are before they ever need your products or need your services, where you are a recognized brand in your community. And your community is where you do business and the people that buy from you or may buy from you. And that's what you've got to do is build your business to that hope. We have a lot of guests on here that talk about different ways to do that. Last week we had Lee Rolfe on, and he was talking about using AI technology to answer his telephone. And to be honest, we saw a lot of comments came into me since we did that broadcast last week of a lot of people that don't like the AI concept. They want to talk to human beings. They see the bad way around it. And I think they're thinking like the self checkouts that we see at so many big box stores these days, at the grocery stores. Maybe that reboot wasn't the right direction. So the thing is, you've got to decide, is it time to reboot and what's needed in your business to do that reboot? So I'm going to start off with Cheryl. Cheryl, when I came up with this topic, what went through your mind on the topic of rebooting your business? What did you think about this?
Well, the first thing I thought is how I used to tell you always when your computer would mess up, I just tell you reboot it, try to make it, clean it up a little bit, get the trash out. And the thing about it is we tend to get stalemated in our business. We look at it every day and we don't notice that it's the same way all the time. And if you're happy with it the same way, that's fine. But if you're trying to grow, you need to quote, clean out the trash, clean out your mind, clean out your employees' minds, and reboot it from the bottom. Make sure that it's clean, it's fresh, and it makes everybody move faster, I believe.
Okay. Josh, what's your thought on the topic of rebooting your business? You got to turn your mic on, Josh.
Sorry, dogs are always barking here. The first thing that came to mind was was looking at the quality of service that you're offering. Can you up what you're doing to maybe increase sales? Are you is there more service? Can you take an extra 15 minutes that may result in extra sales at a customer and make the most out of your lead? I'm sitting here thinking, like, is it time to clean trucks and organize? How you go about just that alone in your warehouse and trucks is a new feeling, especially if you can maintain that. And now's a good time to look at what services are making you money and which ones aren't. Those are some of the things I'm sitting here thinking about right off top.
Yeah. And those things come down, Josh, because one of the things a business manager's got to do is they've got to analyze the previous year and what worked, what didn't work, where they were successful and where there were failings. I know we have published And if you send me an email, I'll send you the link how to get there, a self-analysis sheet where you can take a look at your business. I just am completing up an article today for a magazine, and it is about the ten leading challenges that I see for home service contractors in the coming year in 2025. And at the top of the list of those, what do you think the top of the list is, Cheryl?
I don't know what would be at the top of your list.
Okay, what will be at the top of your list if I said the biggest challenge facing companies in 2025?
I think we all need to look at the surroundings of the coming down of the new government and the challenges that that may impose, whether there's embargoes, whether there's other things that would cause us to have to adjust the way we buy things and also the way we sell things.
Yeah, and you just hit an important point. On Monday of next week, we are going to have a new president. It's going to be inaugurated. Some people are looking this with ultimate joy. They're really looking forward to this. Other people are dreading this. You see people say, "Hey, I'm leaving the country if Trump gets elected." Guess what? I just saw that Ellen DeGeneres was moving back to the U.S. after she went to England for a while. Maybe she found out it wasn't what she really thought it should be out there. But again, yeah, taking a look. So, Josh, what do you think the top challenge is in 2025 for businesses?
Oh, I thought you were throwing Cheryl a softball and she was going to say employees.
Yeah, I did throw her a softball and she just went right around it, brother.
I'm trying to not deal with employees for about 30 minutes. Yes, employees, that's going to be a huge challenge also. I'm going to go ahead and take a little more there. It really is. It's already showing in the people that I'm getting that have come in the last couple of weeks. The quality's down. The resumes are down. It seems to be a slow time. I don't know if it's because of what's coming up or just because it's the winter season.
Okay. So, Josh, what about you? What do you see as it? So, I'm not going to toss you a softball, but what do you see?
Well, we're not married, so I don't expect you to. I was going to say training is a big one. Getting the people, culture. Those are the things that you keep hearing about. I just saw a post. It was company culture is how your employees feel about your companies on Sunday evening.
That's an interesting thought.
That is a very interesting thought. So that was kind of my thought. And then, of course, as always, can you leverage more technology to be more efficient with what you have too?
Right. And just so everybody knows, these are what I came up with as the top, challenges that we'll face. And the top of my list is labor shortages and retention. I think this is going to be big, and getting the available talent's going to be harder and harder. Technological integration. It's going to become bigger and bigger. AI integration, we just talked about the other day. We also see that the consumers' expectations are rising dramatically. I see that. I think we're going to see economic pressures next year. I mean, it is truly amazing the costs that I'm seeing today to market a business and what the cost of the leads are. Another one that's going to get big in 2025 is sustainability and recycling, those type of things. Marketing and visibility, that's going to be big. That's going to be a challenge for you. The variation in products and services and how we're seeing, I'm just going to call it unscrupulous competitors hitting the social media platforms and impersonating companies. And then I see as number 8, adapting to AI and automation. Number 9, the better of the seasonality. We're seeing people right now, the demand for their services has dropped tremendously. And number 10 is the regulatory and legal challenges that will be faced in the coming year. We've seen a tremendous influx of where safety standards have come into play into this. So as I went through that list, Cheryl, what stood out to you?
Basically, the labor force. My thing is, there's people out there, there's just no one that really, well, I don't say no one, there's not a majority of people that want to work. And a lot of them, especially in the trades, where I think it's going to be harder than in the offices because trades just does not seem to be where parents try to lead their children into. So I think we're going to have that as a big challenge in our industry.
Okay, so you see that continuing. So yeah, very few people raise their children up to be blue collar service technicians, home service technicians. It's just not on the radar. We send them to college. If we take our friend Josh here, Josh, what'd you go to college for? What you got your degree in?
Accounting.
Right, you got your degree in accounting, but are you working in accounting today? No,
No,
you're
thank
not.
God.
Yeah. What was the big change for you after you got out of school? Because you went to the University of Tennessee. If you ever called Josh's phone, you're going to hear his voicemail is going to be the University of Tennessee fight song is going to come over, I guess. You still got that, right?
You know what? I probably need to renew it,
Okay.
but it is
But
fun.
so
Does get
what
me
was your
jazzed.
yeah. So as an example, what drove you from the trade that you went to school for that your parents paid a lot of money for you to go to this school? What changed you from being in that occupation?
Um, it was sense of accomplishment. So it was interesting. I was talking to someone who was an accountant the other day, and I was helping them out, and they were on a conference call, and I was just listening to the um her teleconference in the back, and it always shocks people that I have a degree in accounting, and then I may happen to be there working on the fireplace, and I'm like, oh, you just took me in the Wayback Machine, and it the sense of satisfaction of, and we talked about it. I talked about it with her for a while. The number of hours you got to spend to find a quarter sometimes for a big corporation, they want you to find that quarter. Find where we're off by 25 cents, where they just spent $10,000 in employee labor to find the quarter. There was just really no job satisfaction in it. You're sitting in an office, little to no human interaction sometimes. I was excited. I have Windows for the first time. I didn't have Windows for 25 years. So it was all, dark and unnatural light. So I was excited to have Windows, but I liked being outside. I liked interacting with people. I really enjoy that sense of accomplishment you get.
Okay, got you covered. So again, as a business owner, if you're listening to us, I want you to be aware that tackling the challenges of 2025, it's going to require a mix. It's going to require strategic planning. You're going to have to learn to adapt to technology. Your workforce training and development, it's got to step up. We are promoting to consumers that we're subject matter experts. But is it time to take an honest look? Are we actually subject matter experts? And we've got to innovate with customer focused reviews. What you got to do is stop, take an annual review of the company's performance. This is the time of the year to do that. And an ongoing review of your key performance indicators. You got to do this on a regular basis. And the competent manager, what they do is they always set the time for doing this. I think that you having SWAT meetings is an excellent process. I've participated in many of them and moderated quite a few, facilitated, and it is an excellent way to get your people where they can share what their thoughts are. I think you got to become a better listener if you're going to be a strategic leader. You got to learn to listen to people, which is a difficult task for a lot of us. But you've got to learn to step up. The worker of today is not the worker that we had 20 years ago. And now, like I said recruitment and retention. We are seeing a lot of people that are leaving companies on a regular basis that have had many years. They're moving on to do other things. So you've got the training built into them. How are you going to retain your talent? So Cheryl, you got any additional thoughts on this topic?
I just think the main thing is people need to open their eyes. They need to communicate with their people. They need to communicate with their peers. It seems like you become a lone wolf up there in the management part. if you've got to grasp what's going on. And I think that's the biggest problem. Number one, we don't listen, and number two, we don't see. And I think that's what causes a lot of the problems that goes on in trying to keep everything flowing correctly. And if you don't, as you would say, and I know you're going to love it when I say this, if you don't nip it in the bud, then it just grows. It's continually growing problem.
Yes, it is. Josh, you got any closing thoughts on the topic?
Obviously I'm going to circle back to, if you do the SWOT, it's important that you're going to follow up as leadership on what is said. Don't try. And again, I like to quote Bob Iger when he was trying to be CEO of Disney. He campaigned for that job, and what his friend helped him do was, okay, what are the top 10 things you're going to fix? And then he narrowed it down to 5, and then the 3, and then that's what he pitched, because 10 is too many. 3 is three. The 3. What are the 3 things you can actually, focus down and drill on? Is it, getting everybody here on time for meetings? Is it, cleaner trucks? Too much change, you're going to whiplash, back at one time. I know for me, losing weight, it's been a gradual progression, because every time else I've done it, I always whiplash. So it started, with the working out. And then, and then once the employees see you're engaged, then, then getting them engaged as well.
Yep. And it is. And you said something there, which is, it's very easy to overwhelm your people. And Josh, I think you hit a key thing. When you try to do too much too fast, whenever you keep rolling out new programs, new things, and nothing's ever completed, I think it gives the employees a sense of uncertainty. I think they're overwhelmed. And what you've got to do is, that's where listening to your people, having regular meetings, making sure that your people that work for you know what your vision is for the company, and that you also have an interest in them reaching their dream destination. There's a program out there called the Dream Manager, where people help their employees get to what they want in life, because your employees might want different things than you do. So anyway, we hope this has been helpful. If you need assistance on putting together a SWOT, putting together your strategic plan, we've helped a lot of companies in this industry that have really made significant strides because they have a strategic plan to follow. If you're ready to do the work, reach out, let's talk. Let me help you get your business where you want to go with it in the right direction. And with that, I want to thank you for joining us on this week's episode. Like I said, it's not a real long one. We made it kind of short here. So appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your day to listen to us. We're CVC Success Group. If we can help you move to where you want to go, it's as simple as reaching out to us at any time. We're here to help you. So with that, we'll talk to you next week on the next episode of the CVC Home Service Success Network. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. And folks, it's cold out there right now, believe me. And we see it's going to be even colder next week down here. We're freezing our butts off down in the South right now. So I hope you have a warm, pleasant weekend where you're at.